Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein and Democratic Congressman David Cicilline pushing through a bill banning several types of what they call assault weapons. It would also ban ammo magazines holding more than 10 rounds. This comes after House Democrats passed two sweeping gun control bills requiring background checks on all commercial gun sales and a 10-day review for gun purchases. Joining us now to discuss is Second Amendment advocate and attorney Dianne. Sir, thank you for joining us. So give us a feel for how you read this, because there are a lot of people who are big Second Amendment advocates that have a problem with this legislation.
So from my standpoint, this is nothing more than a backdoor way to chip at the Second Amendment. And they've been honestly doing this for years. A lot of these legislations are new to a lot of people, but they've been trying to pass them for some time now. And now that they have control of the House and to a lot of degree, control of the Senate, they feel this is the right time to now try to push these pieces of legislation and get them through, because now Biden's in office. And so they're feeling extremely confident in that regard. So now they're taking advantage like they normally do, especially when there's a tragedy. But now they're taking advantage of the power that they have in Congress to try to push these legislation through. And to me, it's nothing more than finding new ways to undermine our rights under the Second Amendment, one law at a time.
Are you worried what will happen next? Are you worried that these will actually become law?
I am, largely because even with H.R. 8, for instance, that was just recently voted on, you had some Republicans who actually voted in favor of it. And so right now, the only thing that we have as far as a stopgap to prevent these things from passing right now in the Senate is the filibuster rule. But then you also have the Democrats talking about getting rid of the filibuster rule as well. And once that happens, there's really nothing that we can do to stop them from passing the pieces of legislation that to try to pass it undermines the Second Amendment. And at that point, we'd have only the Supreme Court to rely on.
Yeah.
So it definitely concerns me.
Are you bothered by what's in these bills? Are you concerned about it being a slippery slope as to where it might go? And if so, what is it that you're fearful of?
I'm not worried about it being a slippery slope, because it's very purposeful. Like their whole intent and purpose is to inevitably erode the Second Amendment out of existence. And I know it sounds extreme, but it's essentially what they're trying to do, because none of the legislation that you're trying to pass currently would have stopped any of the major mass shootings that we've had recently, nor will it put a dent in any of the gun violence that we currently have now, because those are largely socioeconomic issues. So these legislations are literally designed to chip away. And so they're trying to not only create the slippery slope, but to make the slippery slope as fast as possible, especially now considering that they're in power.
Yeah, what is it that people need to understand? Because people just hear the catchphrases. They hear, assault or assault weapon ban, background checks needed, and they think that's okay. I can agree with both of those, but the issue is larger.
So what they don't tell you, let's talk, for instance, about the background check aspect of it. We currently do have background checks. If you buy a gun from a dealer, you're required to have a background check. However, what that particular law, when it was put in place, did was not deal with the private exchange of firearms. And that was on purpose. They talk about it as if it's a loophole. It wasn't a loophole. It's on purpose, because they understood at that time that that was crossing the line with respect to our rights under the Second Amendment. So what that would require then is, if I wanted to give a gun to a friend of mine or sell a gun to my neighbor of sorts, he would have to get a background check. Now, the only problem with that is there's no way to enforce that type of background check unless you had a database with every single gun that was sold.
Yeah.
So as a result of that, they want to pass this law so that they can say later on down the line, well, it didn't really work because we don't have a national database. And that national database is a gun registry.
Yeah.
And so what that then does is allow them to, at somewhere else down the line, because these aren't going to do anything to stop the violence or the crime, then they'll be on there and say, you know what, maybe we just need to collect them and confiscate the guns. And guess what? Now we have a national database of all the information.
Right. And that's that slippery slope that I think some people are very concerned about. Dianne.
I'm sure the YouTube algorithm is going to do a phenomenal job of suppressing this message. So please share this video with as many people as you can so we can beat the algorithm and get our two-way message out to the masses. Also, don't forget to like this video and leave a comment, and hit the bell and subscribe button. If you're looking for where to purchase your Defund Gun Control shirts, hats, and drinkware, there's a link in the description section of this video.